Hey guys, how y'all doing? Welcome to my Tekken 7 Season 3 guide for Katarina. In this guide, I'm going to take you through the changes that she received in Season 3. I'm going to show you my approach to the character and how I believe she is best played, and give you a better understanding as to why I believe she is still a very good and dangerous character when used correctly. My hope is that both old and new players get more information of the character from the perspective of someone that's been playing her since Tekken 7 Vanilla hit arcades. So to start off, let me talk about Katarina's general game plan. Katarina is a very poke-heavy character with great pressure and the ability to completely neutralize your opponents, and this is especially true at the wall, which I'll get more into detail later. So when you are in your opponent's face, you have several options to chip away at their health, such as standard jabs. You could do 1-2, you can do 1-1, you can do down forward 1, down forward 1-1, down 4, and down 3. Also, before anybody says it, I know that down forward 1 supposedly got nerfed in Season 3, but I've played Katarina enough in Season 3, I've played in tournament with her, to know that down forward 1 is still a very good tool if you pick and choose your spots correctly. You gotta be smarter now, alright? So, when you are in your opponent's face, like I said, you want to keep in mind jabs. You want to keep in mind your mid and low pokes. And always mix it up. Keep your opponent guessing. Keep them on the edge of their toes. So you get in their face, maybe throw out a couple jabs, go for a mid, another mid, low. So mix it up. Always mix up those moves and slowly chip away at your opponent's health. When it comes to Katarina's movement, I think that she has some of the best movement in the game. She has a very good backdash, as you can see. She has good backdash. Her sidestep game is also really good. And this is a good way for you to create space between your opponents and create whiff opportunities, so you could punish them. Movement in general is very important to Tekken, so it should always be something that you're practicing. But when it comes to Katarina, I believe that she can't be played to her fullest potential unless your movement is on point and nearly flawless. So when you take all of these things into account, my general game plan with Katarina is to either poke my opponent to death or frustrate them to the point where they make a crucial mistake that allows me to capitalize with a launcher, a counter hit, or a whiff punish. Now that we covered that, let me go over the changes that she received in Season 3. I said this before, but I'm gonna say it again. People overreacted when the patch notes came out. It's one thing to read about her changes, and another thing to actually have the latest build of the game and put those changes to the test. It's fun to speculate, feel free to do so, of course, but there's no point breaking your mind trying to figure things out before the latest build drops. Anyway, before Season 3 was released, I was one of the few people that had complete confidence that Katarina's so-called nerfs weren't a big deal, and now that Season 3 is out, I can confirm those original thoughts. She's still solid, she's a good character still. Having said that, let me go over the changes that she received in Season 3. 3-3-3 forward. This allows her to go into Harrier Stance. So as you can see, 3-3-3, hold forward, she goes into stance. And this creates another opportunity for you to go into Harrier and mix up your opponent. So this is a welcome change for me. I like it. Magic 4, or standing 4, is now -12. But this shouldn't matter to you because you shouldn't be using this by itself in the first place. I've personally always committed to using 4-4-4 as it's the superior option. So this being -12, to me it makes no difference because 4-4-4 is also punishable. And you get more benefits doing the 4-4-4 than you do getting a normal standing Magic 4. So keep that in mind. If you are ever gonna push the 4 button in neutral like that, You want to do the string. 444. You want to do that. Never this. Sometimes I've done that on accident and it's always a missed input. I never intentionally do Magic 4 by itself. If you see me do it, it's a missed input. I always 100% commit to the string because it gives me a counter hit and allows me to get a better combo. When it comes to Katarina's 444 string, if you do the entire thing, which has 5 parts to it, the final hit is going to give you a wall bounce. So let me demonstrate. As you can see, the last hit caused Katarina to get a wall bounce. In Season 2, it used to give you a wall splat, but now it's different. So next up, forward 3. Forward 3 got a buff in Season 3. It is now +1 on block. Oops, sorry about that. +1 on block and +5 on hit. And it is still a counter hit launcher, so if you happen to get it as a counter hit, you could pick up your opponent and get a full combo from it, and I'm gonna show you that later on. Harrier 1 now hits, the upper range has increased. So if you can see, when she does Harrier 1, her arm now has more upper range, it goes higher. Harrier 3, the damage was decreased from 23 to 20. Harrier 4 is now safe on block at -9, and it still wall bounces, which makes it a more viable option when your opponent's back is to the wall, and you could even throw it out in the open and not have a fear that you're gonna get punished for it. So as you can see, wall bounce, and then you could continue your combo from that wall bounce and get a lot of damage. Harrier down forward 2-3 is Katarina's new move in this season. It's a screw attack, and it also allows Katarina to get further wall carry and more damage on a combo. I wouldn't recommend using it unless it's a combo filler because the string is unsafe, plus the high is duckable. So if your opponent gets the read on you and he ducks the high, then you're gonna get severely punished for it. You can throw it out if you want to, maybe to surprise somebody at the wall, for example, because if the last hit of the string connects, you're gonna get a wall splat, so watch. You can get a wall splat. It's up to you. I personally use it as a combo filler only, but if you feel comfortable using it out in the open to maybe try to mix up your opponent, feel free to do so. Back 2. This move right here, the damage is lower, but it's now less punishable at -14, and the recovery time is faster. However, this move I only use as an evasion tool. I don't really use this too much, but if I know that my opponent is doing a string and there's a gap in between where I have some wiggle room, I could throw out a back 2 and get a launcher. For example, if you are fighting a Leo player and they decide to use back 1-4, there is enough space between the back 1 and the 4 for Katarina to do back 2 and launch Leo and give her absolutely no options. You gotta train your reaction time, but if you can master that, then it's a very lethal move against Leo players. And I'm sure other characters, I'm sure she could use this move against other characters, but it's a matter of trial and error. So really this move, use it for evasion to maybe get a launcher. You could try to throw it out as a surprise attack, and if it works, great. You get a launcher and you can combo from it. But if not, you'll get punished with whatever 14 frame move your opponent happens to have. So keep that in mind. Back 3. So a change that she received to this move is that on counter hit, it knocks the opponent back and they do a quick get up. So let me demonstrate. So back 3 counter hit, watch what happens to Katarina, the opponent. See that? So from, when I use this, if I happen to get a counter hit back 3, what I do after is I use that as an opportunity to advance. So I get a counter hit back 3. I could advance, maybe do a down forward 1. I could do Harrier, get in close, and then do whatever move I happen to want in that situation. I could do back 3, forward 3. Keep in mind your opponent can block. So if you happen to land it as a counter hit, use it as an opportunity to close in the gap and continue your pressure or start your pressure. Up next, we have up forward 3, which is a 19 frame launcher. It's a huge launcher, but it's high risk, high reward. It's minus 15, so some characters will be able to launch it. And this move I mostly use as a sidestep whiff punish or a while standing punish. Every now and then, I'll use it as a Hail Mary, at which point I'm fully aware that I could die if it's blocked, but if it lands, it's going to give you a huge combo with a lot of damage and win you rounds, you know, so something like that. So to demonstrate, you know, let's say your opponent does a snake edge. If you see it coming and you block it, you could punish it with up forward 3. If they do a linear string, such as, let's do that for example. You can sidestep, up forward 3, get a launcher, like so. And then you could go into your combo. Up forward 3, this is something that was changed in Season 3, so you can no longer combo from this. As you can see, when Katarina lands up forward 3, the opponent flies away. In Season 2, it didn't do that. In Season 2, you could get a free up back 4. Sorry about that. In Season 2, if you got up forward 3 plus 4, you could get a up back 4. And on some characters, you could even get a full combo if up forward 3 plus 4 landed. But that's not the case anymore. So keep that in mind. One good thing about this move in Season 3, however, is that if you are at the wall, this is now a wall splat. So check that out. Up forward 3 now gives you a wall splat. And I can think of many situations in Season 2 where I got this move at the wall. And if it had a wall splat effect back then, it would have won me so many rounds. But, you know, this is a good addition. I like this. I like that this has a wall splat. Sure, you might have lost the ability to get a free up back 4 after connecting in the open, or even a combo. But the trade-off, in my opinion, is fine. You could get a wall combo from this. Forward 2-4. So the last hit doesn't tailspin anymore if the first hit whiffs. So let me show you. As you can see, if the first hit doesn't connect, the second hit will not give you a screw. It's just gonna throw your opponent away. No screw attack. It is, however, easier to combo from it due to a change in animation when the opponent gets hit. So they're actually, they made an improvement to it in a way, because you get more, you get that sense of confidence that you are more likely to combo from this move if it lands than drop a combo. So you could, you know, 4-4-2-4, go in, you know, back 1, and start a combo from that. 4-4-3 at the wall is now like Season 2 down 3 plus 4. So if you remember, Katarina, when she was at the wall, one of her best combos to do was stomp into up back 4. So let's see, pretty much there. So let's say if you remember, she would do stomp, up back 4 in Season 2, but that's no longer a thing in Season 3. So instead, she now has forward 3. So for people freaking out when they read the patch notes that her stomp to up back 4 wall combo is gone, man, boy, you guys should be patient. It's still there, just a different move. And then down forward 1, despite the change in frames, this is still a good pressure tool. You just gotta pick and choose your spots correctly. Play smarter, use your movement, get your pokes in, and it's still good. Alright, so let me talk about some useful tips that you should keep in mind when playing as Katarina and you're fighting other characters. So, if you do 1-1-1 with Katarina, and the last hit happens to be a counter hit, watch what happens. You see what happened to the opponent? Face down, head towards me. Let's watch it again. Alright, so anytime your opponent is in that position, you get a free up back 4. So watch. Now, it doesn't register as a combo, but your opponent can't get out of it. There's no way they can avoid that. So keep that in mind. The same applies to forward, forward 3. Watch what happens if you land forward, forward 3. You see Katarina's position? Face down, head towards me. So when you see your opponent in that position, always up back 4. It's guaranteed. It's free. They can't escape it. They can't do anything. It's good damage. Train yourself to recognize this animation. Your opponent face down, head towards you. Forward 3, up back 4. You know, counter hit 1-1-1, last hit only, up back 4. Next up, I want to talk about one of my favorite moves as Katarina, which is down forward 3+4. This is a low move. It's -14, I believe, but it has a lot of distance. It covers a lot of distance in the stage. The range is very good, is what I'm trying to say, as you can see. And it's very deceptive because sometimes the opponent is going to think that they're out of the reach of this move, but surprise, surprise, it's still going to catch them. And my favorite thing about it is that if you catch somebody with down forward 3+4 and it happens to be a counter hit, watch what happens. So let's set counter hit on. So you do down forward 3+4, approach, and you get a guaranteed stomp. 2 hit, 45 damage combo. As you can see, it's pretty good. You can also do up back 4 out of counter hit down forward 3+4. It's 2 points less damage. I like the stomp. Personal not only because of the damage, 2 points, but just personal preference. I just think it looks cool, more satisfying. So keep that in mind. If you're having trouble landing the stomp, then you can always go for the up back 4 option, and it's still going to give you pretty decent damage. Down back 3, this move right here, I like using this whether I'm out in the open like this, but it's especially good at the wall because if you happen to connect with down back 3 and your opponent's back is to the wall like that, you can do a down back 3 and get a guaranteed up back 4. Like that. And trust me on this, I've tested it myself. I have not been able to get out of it no matter how I get up. This is guaranteed. Keep this in mind. Down back 3, up back 4, and then continue the pressure from there. Down back 3, up back 4. You know, start pressuring your opponent at the wall like that. Speaking of the wall, these are the moves that I use that lead to a wall splat, and moves that you should keep in mind. So you got 2-2, gives you a wall splat. You got down forward 2-2, gives you a wall splat. Down forward 2-4, wall splat. Up forward 3+4, wall splat. Forward 3+4. I mentioned Harrier down forward 2-3. And also while standing 2. Those are the moves that I always use to get a wall splat, and you should use them as well. Now, this is going to lead me into wall combos. Katarina at the wall is very dangerous, not only because of how good her pressure tools are, but because if she happens to get a wall splat, she gets insane damage output from a wall combo. And when I have my opponent in a wall splat, really I only use one of three options, and they are as follows. You get a wall splat, down forward 1-1, Harrier 4. You can do jab, down forward 1, 3-3 string. Like that. And you can also go for 4-4-3, up back 4, which is the stomp of season 3. So for this to work, the wall splat has to be rather high and your opponent has to be sliding down. So if you try to do it from a normal wall splat, let's say I do 2-2, I try to do it like that, it's not going to work because your opponent can hold back after that. So in order for this to work, like I said, you got to get a high wall splat. So you could, for example, I could do while standing 2, and you see how Katarina is sliding down? You see that? You got to time it right. So the moment when her butt hits the floor, that's when you want to do forward 3 into up back 4. Like that. That's her stomp combo. That was in season 2, but now it's just a different move. So keep that in mind. Alright, so let me talk about rage. When Katarina has rage, you could choose to do the simple option, which is just doing a rage art. Maybe do it out in the open, catch some button happy opponents, watch this sick animation, get some good damage. You could do it in the middle of a combo. You know, keep in mind that the damage is going to scale depending on how many hits you've done prior to doing the rage art. But where her rage truly shines is utilizing her rage drive. So let me go to the wall. We were just talking about how Katarina has really good damage at the wall. With rage, specifically with rage drive, it's insane. So I'm going to do 2-2, down forward 1-1, Harrier 4. Pay attention to the damage. 5-hit combo, 63 damage, with the wall, in rage. Do you think that's acceptable? I don't think so. Not at all. I'm going to do the same combo again, but I'm going to end it with rage drive and watch how much the damage increases. Look at that. 87 damage. That's a massive increase. And keep in mind, that's something basic. If you have carried your opponent to the wall from, let's say, center stage, the damage output is even higher. So when it comes to rage, your best option is to do rage drive at the wall because that's where you'll get the most damage out of it. If you choose to do it out in the open like this and the opponent blocks it, you'll have frame advantage, but you'll lose out that damage that you would get at the wall. So it's up to you. I want to talk about Katarina's 4-4-4 string. So earlier I mentioned that Magic 4 being punishable now is no big deal because I always go for the entire string. I always do 4-4-4. And you should be doing it as well, and I'm going to show you why. So by itself, the string, if it's blocked, you can get punished. So watch what happens. Okay, I get a punish. 4-4-4 by itself is punishable. However, Katarina can go into Harrier Stance after it by holding forward. Like that. She can go into stance. Not only that, but she can cancel her stance and into a crouch. So watch what happens by holding down back. You see that? And you can stay crouching like that to bait out an opponent's high punish because people will try to jab punish after they see 4-4-4. They'll try to jab punish, but if you go into Harrier and cancel, you can counter by doing a while standing punish. So let me just demonstrate. So something like that. Another thing that I like to do is 444 Harrier 1 because it'll crush jabs. So I like doing that, so let me show you. As you can see, I tried to jab punish and it didn't work. That's a good option that you could do out of 444 Harrier. So even though that 444 is unsafe on block, you can make it relatively safe by going into Harrier Stance and exploring your options after that. It's by no means a foolproof plan, but it does make things a bit safer for you, and it also keeps your opponent guessing. So going back to the example of 444 Harrier 1, if the opponent predicts it correctly, they could duck the high and they can launch you. So watch what happens. So like that. But like I said, you gotta explore your options. You gotta mix up your opponent to keep them guessing. And of course, if you manage to land 444 as a counter hit, it allows you to get a combo and do a lot of damage. So pretty much that's the reason why I've always gone for the full string, well, the first 3 parts of it, rather than just using 4 by itself. If anything, at most, I'll use this as a combo filler, maybe, but other than that, there's no reason why you shouldn't go for the full string. 444, Harrier, you could cancel it, and keep your opponent guessing. Apply the pressure, apply the mix-ups. Another great move that Katarina has that you should be using is her down forward 4. This move right here. The reason why is because it's a mid, it's safe, and it's a knee. So what this means is that if you're fighting a character like Asuka and she decides to throw out a parry, you could just down forward 4 and she can't do anything about it because she can't parry a knee. Also, if you happen to get a down forward 4 and it's a counter hit, it's going to give you a full combo. So you see the way Katarina falls? From there, you could get a pickup and combo your opponent. One of the most basic ways to set up a counter hit knee, a counter hit down forward 4, is to do 1-1-2 and then do down forward 4. The reason why is because 1-1-2 gives you huge frame advantage. So if your opponent tries to press anything and you throw out a down forward 4, they're going to get counter hit. So let me just demonstrate. 1-1-2, down forward 4. So you see, I tried to jab it, I couldn't do anything. I get counter hit, and Katarina can get a full combo. Back 3 and back 4. So these moves right here are good to use to keep your opponent at a distance. And they both have counter hit properties. I already covered back 3. But if you get counter hit back 4, it's the same effect as a counter hit down forward 4, so you get a full combo. So if there's ever a time where you want to keep your opponent at a distance and you're moving around, let's say you have the life lead and you want to keep them at a distance, do back 3, you could do back 4, and they have good reach, so they're good to throw out. I like using them a lot. Before I forget, I want to talk about her Harrier 3. So if you happen to land Harrier 3, you can get a free up back 4, or you can get a free stomp down 3+4. Like that. The stomp does more damage, so that's what I go for. Harrier 2 is a move that I like to use as a way to end combos sometimes. And the reason why is because if the opponent doesn't hold back at the end, then you get a free up back 4. So like that. So let me show you. So let me just do a basic combo. End it with Harrier 2, up back 4. Now watch, if I don't hold back, it's free. I can't do anything about it. If I do hold back, then the up back 4 is gonna get blocked, as you saw. It also floor breaks, so if you are on the Forgotten Realm stage and you end the combo with down or Harrier 2, it's a floor break move and it allows you to continue your attack. Also on counter hit, it gives you a combo. It launches, as you can see. Also from Harrier, she can do her command grab, which is down forward 1+2. So that's what it looks like without Harrier. And with Harrier, it's gonna look like this. So it's another option that you can use from Stance. Next up, I want to talk about Katarina's punishers. For her 10 frame, you want to use 1-2 or 1-1. Same amount of damage, 2 hits. For her 12 frame, always do, well, she doesn't really have another option, use 2-2. This is a great move. 2 hits, 30 damage, and it covers a lot of distance. So there are some moves that have strong pushback that might be -12, but because Katarina takes a step forward when she performs this move, she can still punish. And it's also a wall splat. For her 13 frame, she has back 1-2. For a 14 frame punish, she has 3-3-3. So you can do the entire 5 parts of the string, like that, 38 damage. And if you want to, you can go into Harrier after the first 3 parts of it, and maybe go into a mix-up after that. But really, if you want to use this as a 14 frame punisher, just go for the entire thing. I will say, however, that as a personal preference, if I block anything that's -12 to -14, I will always go for 2-2. The reason why is because of the distance that it covers, and it gives better frame advantage on hit, which allows me to go in and continue my offense. For a 15 frame punish, you want to do hop kick, so up forward 4. Katarina's punishers from crouching position are the following. You can do while standing 4, that's 11 frames. While standing 1-1, that's 13 frames. And you have the option to go into Harrier Stance after that, like that. 14 frames, you could do while standing 3-3, the entire string. And for 15 frames, you could do hop kick, or while standing 2. I personally always go for while standing 2 because I just have to release the stick into neutral position. I don't have to move it to the up forward position and risk getting a missed input. But it's up to you what you want to do. You could do that, or you could do that. That's a 15 frame punisher from while standing. So now let me show you the combos that I use in a match. And if you're a beginner, if you're a new player and you are having trouble with the execution, then the most basic but effective combo you can use that works with any launcher that Katarina has is the following. So let's say I get a hop kick. I'm going to do down forward 1 3 times, 2-2, run up, back 1, Harrier 4. So, like that. And the filler that I did, down forward 1 3 times, 2-2, back 1, Harrier 4, it's gonna work for any launcher. So you saw I did it with the hop kick. Let's say I got the counter hit down forward 4. 1, 2, 3, 2-2, run up, back 1, Harrier 4. As you can see, it still works. So, like I said, if you're having trouble with any of the harder combos, this is a good one to use because it does decent damage and it's relatively simple. Alright, so now I'm going to show you some of the combos that are a bit more harder that I like to use. And keep in mind that these are the ones that work for me, but as you play, you're obviously free to change them to your liking. Also, keep in mind that these combos are performed under a controlled scenario where everything works, but in a real match, you may be put in a situation where you'll have to modify them on the spot to adjust for weird character positioning. Alright guys, so that's going to conclude this guide for Katarina. Overall, I think that she is a very strong character and hasn't lost what made her good in the first place, but ultimately it's up to you to use all the tools that she has and make the character work. If you're new, hopefully this guide gives you a good foundation to build on, and if you're experienced, you know, it's always good to review the basics and learn from others. Learn, it's good for you, not just in Tekken, but in general. Also, really quickly, I want to say that to those people that think that Katarina was a scrubby character, now that she got nerfed, if you manage to beat one of these players with Katarina, that's even sweeter, because now they can't complain. They can't be like, oh, 444, 333. Nah, they have no excuse now. Anyway, if you want to see more Katarina or Tekken gameplay, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Twitch, and drop me a follow on Twitter. My name is PirateKingFla on all three of those platforms. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, have a good one, and take care. I'll see you guys next time.